Rollo Tomassi, Rollo Tomassi, Rollo Tomassi. I got to take my hat off, do a clap, congratulate Mr. Rollo Tomassi on writing a book that has touched a lot of men, reached a lot of people in the manosphere, and probably helped out and equipped and fortified a lot of men, at least insofar as the information that is offered in the book is concerned for the most part. But, and there's a big but, unfortunately, in life, you know, we have to stick the landing. And Rollo Tomassi totally did not stick the landing. Great book, full of great information, all the way up until his answer to all the problems that he presents in the book. Yes, there's so much truth in this book. Great truth in this book. Delves into, uncovers female nature. But, again, there's a big but. Problem is the answer. So, today, and I believe I've talked about this before, but today I'm fully going to go into it in detail. The problem with Rollo Tomassi. What is wrong with Rollo Tomassi? The answer is simple. He plays into hypergamy. His answer is to play into hypergamy. So what that tells me is that he really doesn't have an answer. I watched his interview on LAHWF channel on YouTube. He explained his scenario. He explained how he went from a kissless virgin to a sort of alpha guy who played in a band. I think it was in LA, I'm not sure. I think California. Which is a lot of our story, right? We start out nervous and weird, and we learn, if I do this, if I do this thing, girls like me, right? This is what Rollo Tomassi's story is. He played in a band or whatever. All of a sudden, girls started liking him. That probably was his introduction to hypergamy. A lot of us have this same experience. So, he knows everything he's talking about in his book, and his book is great. But he doesn't have an answer to the core problem of his book, right? His answer is wrong. Like I said, he did not stick the landing. Did not stick the landing. Why is playing into hypergamy bad? Why is playing into hypergamy wrong? Because hypergamy is not love, period. The end, right? That's the major problem with Rollo Tomassi. That is why Rollo Tomassi and guys like Rollo Tomassi, now he's pretty much the prominent red pill guy as far as official red pill guys who go out and talk and make appearances and have books. He's the number one. Now, he's by no means unique. What he's saying is what every other guy is saying. What every other red pill and MGTOW guy is saying. We're all saying the same thing because we all have the same experiences and we all know what we're talking about. The problem is that there's a lot of now obviously Rollo Tomassi is not MGTOW. He's married. He's been married, I think, for I swear he said 20 years. Maybe 16 years. It's either 26 years, 20 years, or 16 years. Can't remember how long he's been married, but it's a long ass time. All right. Over 10 years. I know that for sure. So how can somebody, and LAHWF asked the same question, how can somebody who speaks all these things, have a wife, right? And he explained it. He said, well, I've got a lot of value. I bring a lot of value to her. And LAHWF asked Rollo and said, would your wife leave you if you lost all your money? And he said, no, I don't think so, because I have inherent value. Because what I am, because I had the potential to already get, what I had. So women see potential in men. If they feel like this guy's genetics are not right, are not up to snuff or whatever, it doesn't even matter. You're done. So if you lose your money or whatever, she doesn't think you can get any better. She's gone. This is hypergamy. So, admittedly, everything Rollo says, admittedly, is sort of, counterintuitive to what he's saying in his book, in a way, right? He's saying hypergamy doesn't care. Hypergamy, doesn't care how long you've been together. Hypergamy doesn't care how many great moments you shared. It is what it is. So, how could you play into something like that? How could you accept that? Now, on the one hand, it's like, okay, accepting it is one thing. But what I mean is, how could you accept that and then play into it? It's like, that's almost like a prisoner accepting jail and saying, well, this is the way it's supposed to be, so I bet I might as well learn to love it, learn to live with it, or whatever, right? Like, you can't love a woman who's hypergamous. You can love a woman who's hypergamous. A woman who's hypergamous can't love you. She can't. That's not real love. I don't care how much she says she loves you. I die for you. I take a bullet for you. Woo, woo, woo. Put it through the test of fire. Put it through the test of hardships. Put it through the test of suffering. Will she stick with you or will she leave? That's the classic shit, man. That's the classic example. Will she leave? Will she stick with you or will she leave? Right? Now, Rollo says his wife wouldn't leave him because she sees inherent value in him. Okay, that's good. That's fine. But again, what the fuck does that have to do with love? Right? So why are you married to that woman? Now, Rollo Tomassi's popularity has spread to other men, and other men have taken initiative to rise up in the red pill manosphere and speak very similar things to what Rollo Tomassi is saying, and then also add their own experiences on, add their own knowledge and information, which is great. Guys like Richard Cooper of Entrepreneur in Cars, guys like Alpha Male Strategies, guys like Steph is Cold, right? Guys like Donovan Sharp. These guys are doing the same thing. They're saying, hey, you know what? I got these experiences. I'm going to talk about it. And then their experiences help. Their experiences give them the knowledge to speak what they speak. And because they're speaking what they speak, they have, strong, influence, or influence is not the right word. They have strong, they have long reach. Their reach is long and wide because their experiences are the same experiences as other guys, right? Of course, the same with me, like what I speak and what all the other MGTOW guys, what all the other red pill guys speak. We're all speaking the same thing from our own experience. We're all speaking the same thing from our angle, okay? But we're all not that popular, all right? Now, I don't go after Alpha Male Strategies. I don't go after Steph is Cold. I don't care that much about those guys because to me, the guys who are at the forefront are those three: Rollo Tomassi, Richard Cooper, and Donovan Sharp. In my opinion, those guys are the most popular. Richard Cooper is actually super popular. I think he's got I swear he's got like 500,000 followers on YouTube. So what are my major problems with these guys? Now, don't get me wrong, I love these guys. I love, at least as far as they speak the red pill truth, because I think that helps men. So I love that, there's men out there who are for men, seemingly. Of course, they're making money, so one could argue that they're profiteers. But I love that they are speaking the truth, and they are helping men get red-pilled, because when men are red-pilled, they're less likely to get taken advantage of. Okay, all the pitfalls they can avoid and overcome if, the more they're red-pilled. That's great. These guys do a good job. These guys are killing it, right? And I'm surprised Donovan Sharp is not more popular. I think the reason why he's not more popular is because he's a little bit negative, or, most of the content that he talks about is on a negative angle. Richard Cooper, Entrepreneur in Cars, he's really good at what he does because he gives solid positive advice. And Rollo Tomassi is maybe somewhere in the middle. But Rollo Tomassi has his books and The Rational Male, which is insanely popular. So, given its popularity, hopefully men will become more red pill. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate Donovan Sharp. But the problem that I have with these guys is, again, they're playing into hypergamy. All three of them playing into hypergamy. And the second problem I have is they're mixing the red pill with PUA, pickup artistry. All three of these guys are constituents, students of pickup artistry. All three of them have had success with women, as far as I know, especially Donovan Sharp and Rollo Tomassi. I don't know much about Richard Cooper's success with women. He maybe seems a little less successful than the other two. I don't know. But he's in the gym all the time. He's got nice cars. He probably does decent, right? Donovan Sharp has a long-term girlfriend whom he is molding to his whims like a puppet, which, I got my opinions about that. That is what it is. It's his lifestyle. It's the way he chose. But when you bring it to the forefront, when you bring it to, the world stage, then I might say, hey, wait a minute. Let's all not do with it what this guy's doing. Let's all not play into hypergamy. Of course, Rollo Tomassi is married, and he was successful with very high quality hot women in his younger days when he was in a band. So he had things to offer, right? The guys in the band get the girls. They're cool because they're on the stage and everybody woo, right? That's hypergamy. Okay. Sorry to say. So anyway, they studied PUA. They learned that they took the PUA techniques, employed them, became successful with women to some degree, and then also maybe failed and got burnt, which is how they got their red pill experiences, or the experiences they needed in order to become red pill. They're no longer blue pilled, right? That whole love is gone. That whole, concept of love and blah, blah, is gone. And they got so red pilled that they're basically accepting the matrix and living within the matrix. So the very guys who tell you all about the red pill, all about how to, because what is the red pill in essence? What does it represent in the film? It represents leaving the matrix. What does that mean? It means the truth will set you free. Period. That's all that is. That's all the Matrix film is. That's all that is. The truth will set you free. What's the truth? The red pill. The red pill will set you free. That's all that represents. Very simple. Set you free from what? Bondage and slavery in the Matrix. Bondage and slavery in the blue pill mentality, in the blue pill world. the way you think, the way your mind is set up is a type of world, is a type of the way you conceptualize, the way you take in information. It's all part of your own little personal world, you see? So the red pill is about awakening yourself. What happens when Neo takes the red pill? He wakes up, and they have to, well, I think they saved him first. They had to go in and, unplug him, right? Which is like, a figure or a metaphor for being born again, right? In a mental way, not a spiritual way like the Bible talks about being born again. It could be, but really there's actually some very important distinctions between the spiritual and the mental. And some could surmise that, well, it is a spiritual thing to some degree, to wake up from the matrix, to wake up from the blue pill, but not really in the biblical sense that the Bible means spiritual. Anyway, so those who've taken the red pill, MGTOW or otherwise, should be, to varying degrees, woke out of that matrix, out of that blue pill bullshit. And this is what I'm talking about when I say blue pill guys, or guys who are still in the who are still in the matrix. They're in that blue pill mentality. They're not woke. They don't realize it. And this is why it's sad, in a sense, for you to succeed, because you never really know why you're succeeding. You never really know why the woman has chosen you. You think it's love. You think but see, she hides that. And this is what the red pill does. I just made a video titled "Why Women Don't Want Men to Wake Up." Why women don't like woke men. Because you can't hide anything from a woke man. He knows why she's with you. He knows it's the money. He knows it's the resources. Right? He knows this because he knows female nature. So it really is a sad thing for blue pill men to never wake up, to never leave the matrix, because they never really realize that she's fundamentally using him. She's leeching off of him to get what she wants, which is resources, which is babies, a nice lifestyle. So, but guess what? It's even worse. That's tragic. But it's even worse in a way for, a red pill guy. A guy who's really red-pilled, like Rollo Tomassi, or like Donovan Sharp, or Richard Cooper, right? It's really embarrassing for a guy like that to leave the matrix, leave the red pill, leave the blue pill world, take the red pill, accept the truth therein, and yet go back to the matrix and say, okay, well, I know what it is, so I'll play into it, right? And then that's the core fundamental problem with these guys. And the other thing is they give there's really, in the way they talk, there's very little distinction between, at least in their minds. And I'll hear Donovan Sharp say this a lot. He'll say, that's red pill game, right? He says that. He says the term red pill game. There's no such thing as a red pill game. Now, you can take the red pill and you can know female nature, right? And with that nature, you can sort of adapt your PUA skills. But I wouldn't call that red pill game. That's a silly term. Red pill is just the truth. So there's really no truth game. What is that? I don't know. I guess, but it's, it's just kind of not only is it a stretch, it's, I don't know how to put it. It's a stretch, but it's also it's confusing. It's just confusing. Like, red pill is the truth. Red pill is the truth about the way things are. Okay. Game is game. Game is just game. Like, they're not the same thing. They can complement each other. Like, if you're a PUA guy and you want to learn game, if you learn the red pill, you can save yourself from, a lot of pitfalls, from a lot of dangerous scenarios. If you're red pilled, if you know the red pill truths, you can save yourself a lot of, from a lot of problems. So I would say that the red pill complements game in that sense, but they're not to be confused. They're not the same thing. You shouldn't mix them, which is what these guys do. And it's no wonder that they mix them. They admittedly, self-admittedly, play into hypergamy. So they're playing into hypergamy, admitting they're playing into hypergamy, and talking about that's game. Like, that's just weird. Like, it's too much. Like, look, man, if you're gonna be a red pill guy, be a red pill guy, right? But don't try to be a pickup artist too. Now, it is what it is, I guess, but I just feel like, to some extent, it does a disservice to the viewers. Now, if you say something like, I would say there's a caveat. If you say like a disclaimer, right, and say something like, now listen, you can use game, but understand that using game, because all game is in its essence, pickup artistry, all it is in its essence is playing into hypergamy. That's all it is. Improving your social skills, improving your verbal skills, learning techniques, learning, core fundamentals, and applying them. That's all game is. Essentially, at its core, you boil all that down. It's just improving yourself, right? Improving yourself to build and create attraction in a woman, which is, in its essence, what that is playing into hypergamy, period. Women want higher value men. What is learning social skills? What is learning verbal skills? What is learning, techniques and philosophies, and then applying those techniques and philosophies in your pursuit of women? What is that? Essentially, that's raising your value to impress a woman, period. The end. Dressing better, getting in better shape, learning how to talk to a girl. All of these things essentially are just playing into hypergamy, right? So, but when you have the red pill and you say, no, hypergamy's bad, it's bad that women, like what I always say, it's hypergamy is fundamentally unloyalty. That's what hypergamy is. But then if I turn around and I say, I'm going to play into hypergamy so I can get a girlfriend or so I can get a wife by studying PUA and proving myself, like, I'd be a hypocrite. And I can't say I've never done that. There was a few years not too long ago that I did that. But now I see, hey, that's not the way. Why? Because that's not love. Not to say you should be a piece of shit. You should never improve yourself. No. We should always improve ourselves. But where was she when you were in the gym, right? Where was she when you were struggling at work to make more money, to live a better lifestyle? Where was she during that? She wasn't anywhere. She was out fucking Chad. She was out fucking the guy who already had those things you were working for. Right? And then when it didn't work out with him, then she comes over to you. Then she wants to come over to you. Then she wants to choose you. See, to her, she's just waiting around at the finish line. Right? like Richard Cooper always says. She's just waiting around at the finish line for the winner. That's all she's got to do. That's it, man. That's all she's got to do. So that's the thing, man. Why would you be okay with that? Like, yeah, it's my girl. I played in hypergamy. I got her. But I'm going to turn around. I'm going to talk about the red pill. I'm going to, like, what? Wait a minute. Here's the thing, man. That's not your girl. That's not your girl. That's our girl. That's the girl that everybody fucked. She's their girl. She's our girl in a collective sense. She's a corporate girl. Part of the corporation of sluts, right? Part of all the guys who fucked her. She just decided to settle down with you. That's all. She just decided to choose you because you had the best nest. You had the most resources. You were the highest value guy she could get. The most docile man who was going to share or give her resources to her so she could have a baby. That's it. That's all. That's all you are, bro. So my question is this. How could guys who are this smart, guys who are this woke, guys who have taken the red pill to that extent, because I look up to these guys and their knowledge, right? Now, is everything they're saying coinciding with what I know already? Most of it, yeah. But these guys are still smarter than me, better than me at speaking, have more followers than me, right? So my question is to them would be, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Now, if you want to have a girlfriend, if you want to have a wife, whatever, and you admit and you know that you're playing in hypergamy, like on the one hand, like, I don't really have a problem with that because you admitted it. So you're not duped, you're not stupid, you're not necessarily being a hypocrite per se because you admit it, you know what you're doing. The problem that I have is when you bring it out to the manosphere and you act like it's all good while you're saying hypergamy is no good and these women are gold diggers and like, what? That does make you a hypocrite. That does really water down the effectiveness of what you're saying. Now, objectively, you're right in everything you say. It's just your answer. You haven't really given a solid answer. And what is my answer? My answer is don't settle down. That doesn't mean I'm MGTOW, but don't settle down. Because by playing into hypergamy, she still wins at the end of the day. She's winning. You could say, well, I'm getting sex and there's agreement. I bet you say you love her. I'll bet you're kissing her and holding her at night. So she's still winning at the end of the day. She is still getting intimacy with you in exchange for resources. She's winning. The women are winning. So you got all this knowledge. You're helping all these men. And yet you're getting beat by the same thing that you claim to be against in all your videos. Female nature, this, she's choosing the highest value male, or hypergamy, or gynocentrism, and yet you're playing into it. So, I don't see how that adds up, man. I really don't. I don't see how you could do that. If you're going to do it, don't talk about it. Don't admit it. Because the last thing guys need is confusion. The last thing guys out here, especially young guys, the last thing they need is confusion. Well, I should learn all this stuff. I mean, if they follow your example, I should learn all this stuff. And once I learn it, then I can get a girl and it's okay because, blah, blah, blah. It's not too bad because, at least I know all the red pill. At least I'm aware, I'm red pill aware, but I'm still playing in hyper. It's like, nah, bro, you're losing. You're losing. You're not helping anybody. You're not helping yourself. You're losing. She's winning. Right? Because she gets you. She gets, your resources. No, you can't have me if you didn't earn me. No, you can't have my resources if you don't really love me and you're not loyal because you're hypergamous. No, I don't want anything to do with that. Am I going to impress you by dressing away or speaking a certain thing, whatever, so I can fuck you, so I can get into bed with you? Maybe. I don't have too much of a problem with that. But once you start to settle down, that's a problem. That's a problem, bro. You're red-pilled, but you're settled down. You're super out of the matrix, but yet you got a wife who's hypergamous that you admit that she's hypergamous. Bro, what? You might as well just say you're still in the matrix. You're still blue-pilled. Sorry, you can talk. You're very educated and adept at red-pilled knowledge and game. Or, red pill knowledge and PUA, not the same thing, but yeah. So you're very very knowledgeable, but you're still in the blue pill world. You're still back in the matrix, bro. So you're in the matrix talking about how people can get out of the matrix. How does that work? I don't know. I'm just wondering. So it's like, I don't think Donovan Sharp's listeners are out of the matrix. I don't think they're playing the game with what they know. They think they can use the red pill knowledge to improve their game and improve their luck with women, whatever. And it might work a little, might get you laid more, might help you. I mean, I'd rather you do that than not. It might help you from getting taken to the cleaners, right? It might help you from getting in trouble, right? With these women, maybe. Okay. But you're gonna settle down with one? What? You see? Right? Okay, so again, what's the answer? Well, you can't play into hypergamy, first of all. You can't say, you can't be with a woman and say you have love and say you and the woman are really in love when she really just chose you for your resources, when she really just chose you because you're the highest value male that she could get. Sorry, that's not real. You haven't won the game in that sense. So what's my answer? Don't do that. Don't play into hypergamy. Don't settle down with a girl that you got because you learned how to be bad boy. You learned how to be a PUA guy or whatever.